welcome back to the Cup Chasers podcast. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. It's been a wonderful week one. We're looking forward to week two. All right. The Arsenal travel to Crystal Palace. Um, it's a game that where should be tough. It was an interesting one last season. It's where we opened the season last year, and it was a very strong 2-0 performance. Um, I'm predicting the same. 2-0 to the Arsenal. I think that we probably won't do this Partey right back formation. I think it'll be, I'm hoping that it'll be back to what we did for most of last season. Um, Timber being out is a huge
Big.
blow. That's all season. That's
Massive.
not even January. That's all season long. He's
No.
yeah. So, but luckily Zinni's back in training. So we'll
Y'all
probably
bought two worthless people this window.
wow,
Y'all spent $100 million on two players that can't play.
wow.
You
You're
went
just
there.
gonna open the segment.
Oh yeah, might as well
there.
rip that
Just
band-aid
open the
right
segment.
off.
Just lead with that. Yeah, that's
No, I
great.
really feel like Kai I can make fun of you for, but I know like Timber, that's
Devastating. It's
Timber
gutting,
was
man.
gonna be awesome.
devastating.
He's good. He's good.
Zinchenko's back.
Okay.
So I expect if he's not, I mean, if he's not fully fit, it'll probably be Kieran Tierney. But I expect to see Zinni. Hopefully, he'll be back to his best. It might be like Zinchenko plays for half, and then Tierney plays the second half, or 60 and 30, something like that. Um, I'm not too worried as far as the impact it's going to have. Timber was a bright light for sure, and we're going to miss
Do
him.
you think do you think he was there enough for it like I know it matters, but do you think he was like implemented enough to where it's going to hurt like the system that you have? Like you have a guy that can fill that role.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I'm not. Honestly, when Zinchenko came back, I figured he would start anyway. To be honest with you, so I think it'll be very, very regular Arsenal, except
Yeah.
be Havertz instead of Xhaka, and probably Eddie instead of Jesus. I don't think he's quite back to fitness yet. It's going to be soon though. Maybe next game. Maybe the one after that.
Oh, he's coming back a lot sooner than I
Whole lots.
thought.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
really
Yeah.
just need to just play Trussard in that false 9-9 role. Like,
Look,
If Eddie, look. Here's the thing. Here's the thing though. Eddie trains really, really well. Arteta has said that a lot, that Eddie trains really, really well. And if he comes into the game and scores, you can't argue with him. So for this game, for the Palace game, he deserves his start. He come in, he was asked to score goals, he got the job done, scored the goal. We won the game. That he's done his job. So how do you not start him again? You know, and I don't know if you know this, but Eddie Nketiah's record in starts at the Emirates, 14 goals in 16 games.
it's impressive.
So when he starts, he scores. I mean, that's a home stat, but he has had some big goals in the early months of this year. So I texted y'all in the group uh, about a week ago about how I think sometimes not just Arteta and Pep's definitely got this. I've heard that Postecoglou is good with man management and developing players. Pochettino's got a reputation for development. Obviously Jurgen Klopp's developed. I think this goes under the radar as far as a celebrated characteristic of good coaching, and I think that we might see Eddie have a season that a lot of people are not expecting. So while I hear you, and I would have agreed last week that Trossard should start, you can't argue with performance. Eddie had a good showing, scored a goal. What else can you ask him? Ask of him.
I have a question. Like I hear you and I agree with that because I don't. I mean, I don't I don't knock it, right? I think he does what he needs to do. But for that stat, because we can make statistics say whatever we want them to say. Uh, who were the 14 opponents? Is what I ask, right? Because I mean, it matters against who you played to score those goals. Because if it's garbage teams, then I mean, you got to have to take that a different way.
Well,
I mean, but if he's training well and the manager believes in him, I mean, I go with that. I just feel like Trossard offers something a little different. But again, for me, being a City fan, now I do work a little bit differently. I don't root for anybody to to be unsuccessful, and it's no negative trait on anyone. I understand everyone does their own thing, but I mean, I would prefer to see the best version of Arsenal, and I think the best version is when he's on the field. I think he's the guy that will actually help him. I think he would cause an issue where he might displace Jesus and that security that, hey, this guy is your starter. I just think he has more in his locker than Jesus. But uh, I mean, I think they'll win the game. I mean, I don't think it'll be an issue at all. Did we do scores? I can't remember if we did scores.
I've done mine. I said it would be 2-0.
Oh, I called it 3-1. But the only reason I called it 3-1 is because I just think Arsenal is good for a goofy one, man. They've been doing it the last couple of the games, and until they get that out of their system, I think they'll dominate, and it'll be one. But I think the one when they get the one, they'll rise to it and score another one. I think they know now, sort of the reality is a little different, right? And I think when you get an opportunity to smack someone, they've done it. Especially early season. Early season, when they get teams that are beatable, they beat them. And so I
Yeah.
mean, that's a track record I would follow. When it's a team that they should beat and it's before December, they smack them.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, I really hope that it's Ramsdale and not David Raya, to be honest with you.
You think he would start Raya right away?
I don't
Over
know.
Rams? How does Ramsdale get displaced, bro?
Yeah,
I,
that's weird.
I agree
That's
100.
all I'm saying. That's all I'm asking is how.
I agree 100%. But the pattern at Arsenal when a top goalkeeper comes to the club, someone moved on. So first of all, someone moves on, Matty Turner, and then a stronger goalkeeper comes in, and normally, uh, if you recall, what happened last time was um, Bert Leno was number one, Emi Martinez was number two, and so Emi Martinez gets a Villa move. Who comes in? Aaron Ramsdale.
Yeah.
2 months, 3 months, Leno was displaced.
Because Ramsdale is better than Leno.
Yeah, is Raya better than Ramsdale?
I
I
mean,
don't.
the statistics they put up would tell you yes.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
We,
that's
we talked
that's just
about
what I'm
that
seeing.
before.
This
But
is.
to
I
me,
hope I'm wrong.
I just feels like that feels like an unnecessary move to shake up the team this early. That feels silly. If he does that, then
It's
I gotta.
competition. It's a total pet move. It's just competition. I'm not worried about it. It's
In the season though, this
also. I
early.
mean, but also remember what I said last time. Also remember what I said last time about my suspicion that Arteta is just in his own head, tinkering and thinking about Champions League and FA Cup and then this game and that game and we need to save this guy for that, and so maybe it's a Champions League Premier League thing, or maybe it's just simply, hey, Ramsdale, don't mess up
I
because
got yeah.
this dude's right here. You lose focus, one mistake, and then your boy starts the next game and you sit for 5 games because he's doesn't.
I
That's
don't
that's
know if
what
that
it is.
sends the right message if he does that.
I don't know. I honestly, I'm a Aaron Ramsdale fan. I'm a big fan, and I hope he keeps the number one spot. Both Premier League and Champions League. I feel like that would be rough to be the number one for so long, and then the biggest competition on the biggest stage, and all of a sudden you're back up. So I hope Ramsdale stays. I hope he's, in this whole bit about he doesn't have the distribution. Man, did you see some of the balls some of the, not just the throws, but also the punts and the kicks that he was having the passes on through the air that Ramsdale's got the distribution, man. So I don't see it. I don't see why it is, and I think we will be stronger mentally. We were away from home last season, and I'm hoping that's going to change. But the real question is, are we wearing that disgusting snot rag, or are we going to wear the third kit? Now, you know what? We will be in that snot rag because we don't wear red against Palace away from home, and our third kit is blue.
Yeah, they were red and blue. Yeah.
So we're going to be wearing that green
Yep.
disgustingness.
Yep.
Great.
You'll be in that alt. Yeah.
Great. I'm so happy. Whatever happened to this kit, man? It's ridiculous.
Yo, that one's nice. Bayern stole that one this year. That's what happened.
Dude, I love Bayern's
Yeah.
third kit. It's awesome. But I went for the 2-0. I think Arsenal are going to have too much.
Yeah.
I don't think that Roy's going to have them sitting back too far back just based on the last game. I mean, they did play Sheffield, I believe. But this will be more of a mid block, especially at Selhurst Park. But yeah, I just think Arsenal will be too much. Martinelli, Saka with some magic. Both of them on the score sheet. 2-0.
Hey, just a quick thing before you go. I was looking at the schedule and Arsenal plays Fulham next. I think if he does a keeper switch, he would do it then and not now, because the next game is United after Fulham.
Yeah.
I wouldn't unsettle the team now. I would wait.
Right.
But if he does, hey, he knows he's a manager. He knows more than me.
In Arteta, we trust.
You have to.
What you saying, Patrick?
So first off, I don't know who's going to score for Palace if they are to score. You got Elise out. I guess Eze could pull one off, but their main striker is Jordan Ayew.
Well, Edward started last game.
Oh, Edward started? Okay.
But Ayew played and was very influential.
But I mean, I just don't know where the scoring's going to come from. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. I think honestly, this is a baptismal by fire. I think Arsenal will destroy Palace. I think there'll be way too much. I think Saka actually gets a brace.
Love it.
I'm going to go 4-1 Arsenal.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, I love that. And speaking of Saka getting a brace, I am going to go ahead and pop up. We'll take this opportunity to pop up the table for the Predictions League after week one. Just a quick little look at it here. There it is. Yeah, and Patrick, since we're on the subject, we've agreed that once the window ends, you get 5 substitutions to your preseason predictions.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Since the
We've
injuries
decided
and
that injuries and transfers and craziness, we're going to take it all into account. And on transfer deadline day, we will get some substitutions in. All right.
Because remember, I went back and forth on Chelsea and Liverpool all because of Caicedo. And that night that I made the pick, it was reported that Caicedo was going to pull. But I want to change the
it's those kind of
Newcastle
shenanigans
for sure.
It's those kind of shenanigans that got us thinking we should just give it some substitutions, the full allotment for deadline day. Yeah, but back on the Arsenal game, what you thinking, X?
So I went 2-0. I think the score line is going to be separated by 2 goals. I think Arsenal is going to score both of them early, but Palace don't have enough to punish you guys for the cool off.
Oh, you think we're doing that business again?
I haven't seen.
Well, you were mad about it last weekend.
I haven't seen y'all not do it, is what I'm saying. So I'm waiting for the week where it doesn't happen.
Hey man, the game before that we won 5-0 in the league. So
Smashed. I know.
when it
I
didn't
get it.
matter. When it didn't matter. But
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Right. So I do think it's funny because Arteta had this. I think you hit a really big point here, and it has to do with the Crystal Palace game, but it really has to do with Arteta as a whole and where he's trying to take Arsenal. Before this season, Arteta was not in this solidified, I'm staying here for the next 10 years position. Before this season, Arteta was really kind of, I don't want to say on the chopping block, but about to be lined up for it. So I think he's feeling that immense pressure and having to tinker and having to do these things because, no, I finally hit the success that I've been wanting to do at this club. We hit it. Now it's the sustainability and the production, whereas you bring more than the dinner plate home. You bring cups home, you bring actual tournaments home, you compete, you run deep in the Champions League, and that will solidify not only him. He wants to put. He's trying to do both essentially. He's trying to put Arsenal back in this. We are top four. We are a top flight team. Take us serious. We're going to be in Champions League. We're going to compete for that spot again. That's our blood. That's our culture. We will be here. And then he's also doing that for himself, saying like, no, I deserve this job. I'm supposed to be here. Look at all the work I did. It paid off. And now he can't let that be a fluke. He can't let you, like Chelsea, we rubber band. Like we might fire a manager and then still come in first, and then next season we'll come in 12th. We're perfectly fine with that. We're gonna gripe, we're gonna moan. But the ship always kind of seems to set itself straight here in their recent history. Granted, new owner, new culture, I get it. Fans are expecting the same.
Well, you're due for a bounce back.
For a bounce back, right? And Arsenal, that was Arsenal's bread and butter was consistency. We are here. We deserve to be here. We're going to compete. We're going to win the FA Cup every year. Doesn't matter. We're going to come in fourth or third. It doesn't matter.
City.
And I just feel Arteta's, with the tinkering and with the cooling off on the sustainability of this season and even last season. There's a lot on his plate, but I do think you smash Palace. I do think you smash these lower teams, and you'll cool off enough to where these guys don't have enough to put them on you, especially this early in the season when they're still trying to figure out. Palace kind of got gutted over this summer. They lost, staples of their
Will
team.
Zaha.
With Zaha, right?
Yeah,
and it's just
Galatasaray.
Yeah, and it's Ziyech. No, Ziyech failed his physical.
No, he didn't fill it.
He didn't.
He didn't fill it.
Thank God. Anyway, he'll be there with Ziyech. Anyway, but I think that Palace just doesn't have enough to offer going after you guys, even with Timber being out. It doesn't really, and it's funny too, right? Because Arteta can tinker in this game. I feel like every name on your team sheet like it doesn't matter. You could line up against Palace and be okay. So it kind of gives him this opportunity. And this is what I was trying to say about Pep. You gotta have to hit you guys now. Like if Palace are gonna do it, they need to do it now because Pep's still tinkering. Arteta's still trying to figure out, if he makes the goalie substitution, fine. If he doesn't play Trossard or if he doesn't start Trossard, trying to take advantages of those holes. We have it too. And if it's gonna happen to us, I think it's gonna happen early. Whereas I think after January, February, we are gonna have solidified backbones. And I think Arsenal's gonna fall into that. City's known for falling into that. They played two different schemes last season. We didn't even know, before January City and after January City is complete. It's two different systems.
I'm telling you, they want to fall behind for a more dramatic victory.
I have a question. X brought up a really good point, and Patrick, you can kind of answer it as well as we do a round thing. You mentioned X mentioned the tinkering part, and Jake, you did too. It made me think, so what is Arteta's thing, right? Because when we look at managers, they all have a thing, right? Like, Pochettino was a developer. Like, there's zero question. You give him young talent, he'll make them good, which is why I think Chelsea will be better as they actually have a solid team and they develop their 11. I think they'll be better. Jurgen Klopp, if he gets a fresh crop of guys, they're going to produce.
He's going to run them into the ground.
And they're going to score a fulfillion goals, and they might not defend it all, but they're gonna score a ton of goals. And Pep's thing is X just alluded to it. Pep always has like 3 systems ready to go in his head because he knows people copy him, and he's waiting for them to copy so he can create a new thing. And then when people copy it, he's already planned on how to beat his own system. Which
the weak. Yeah, I was about to say it's the best. It's the best. Setup. I know what can beat me.
Right.
On this,
Yeah.
this, and this. So when they start playing me like I've been playing, Plan C absolutely obliterates.
It's Batman. It's literally Batman.
Well, yeah. So yeah.
And so what's Arteta's thing?
I think that
Because it can't be over planning and it can't be, overthinking. That can't be
I
it.
think it is. Yeah.
I think this season.
I think it is.
Yeah. No, I think this season is. It's important that I think this is an excellent question because I think I alluded to it in our last pod. I think this season is where he's going to find that. I think this season is where he has to find that because while I do believe that the only way to beat City is to be better than them at what they do, Arteta can't. Arteta knows this is the dilemma in Arteta's head. He wants to copy Pep because Pep is the greatest, or at least he's the best doing it right now. That's a different conversation. Whatever. But he knows exactly what you guys just said. He knows that if he brings last year's plan to a Pep Guardiola team, he's already 3 moves ahead. He's already evolved. Just look what Pep did to the league last season with the inverted fullback thing, And so that's the rub. Arteta's like, okay, I'm not gonna copy it. I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna do the things that I like about it. But now I got to try to do something new, and so that's why we see Partey at right back in that formation, and that's why we see, so he's figuring it out, and maybe that's what you're saying. We have to win the Arsenal way. Well, I guess we got to figure out what that is.
What that is now, yeah.
This season, how we're gonna win the Arsenal way, because
it's like it's like you're caught in between two minds with Arteta here, right? You play the smash mouth football. You're sitting there banging in goals first 5 minutes, first 3 minutes, first 15 minutes. You're up 2-3-0. And then it's like, oh no, we're going to play tactical. And it's like, why are you not playing every game like Liverpool played United, where it's 9, 10, like 7, 8, 9? Like, we don't care. And I get the sustainability. You don't want to run Saka 300 yards every game.
Sub him. Put somebody else in.
Right.
Put somebody else's game.
Right.
Here's the thing, and this is one of those, it just is what it is. Right? Liverpool were on City's coattails for 5 years, right, and they got it over the line once, right?
COVID. I'm just lay that out there, COVID.
But look, my point is, they gave their souls to win that league.
Right.
Not a single player in that Champions League, Premier League winning side was the same after that.
No, Virgil van Dijk's never been the same
They
after that.
They gave their absolute souls to win that league. And if that's what it takes,
is it not worth it?
Do it.
That's what
if that's what it takes. Because think about this. Pep and City and all City fans desperately wanted the Champions League.
Yep.
Desperately wanted the Champions League. Worked years and years and years. Gave everything, and they finally got it. And now look,
we tried, guys.
Look what's happening. Look what's happening. And I may and if you think I'm speaking too soon, you can tell me. But look what's happening. KDB gave his hammy for that treble.
Oh yeah.
He gave his hamstring for that trouble. Gundogan is like, yo, I can't handle this intensity. I'm moving on.
I'm moving to a club where I
I'm
don't
moving-
have to do half of this.
He moved on because he was getting replaced.
No,
He
I
was
get-
getting replaced.
Right, no, I get that, but my point remains that the team
Yeah.
that you won the trouble with, that gave their all to win that trouble, is changing.
Yeah,
Is warping, is
but we
becoming
was doing that before we won it.
right. But my overall point is, if Arsenal are going to win this league, we're going to have to give everything and then some. Just ask Klopp.
Well,
We're
I'm
gonna
gonna
give
go. I'm gonna go
every single thing, and then just a little bit more.
real quick, and then Patrick, you can go. I'm gonna go back further. You just said it, and I think this is the answer. The guy that they just built the statue for outside of the Emirates literally is the epitome of what it was. He watched the guy do the thing, and he said, "I'm gonna do it my way. This is the Arsenal way," and he did that. The second you find your way, because Klopp did it his way, you find your way. Then you can. Then when you win, it means more. So even if they just win the league and don't win the Champions League, it's still the goal. And so that's why I'm saying, like, who's Arteta? Because he got to do it his way. The second he does it his way, they'll have success. Even if
Does
they
he
burn
know?
themselves out.
That's my point. He's
That's
got
my
this
biggest.
year.
That's my question to this before
This
Pat. Does Arteta know? Like Arteta's young. He's a young manager. Does he know? Does
Wenger was
he?
young when he
But he
started
did.
a billion years ago.
Yeah, that's
This is
true.
the season. This is the
Yeah.
season. What you saying, Patrick? Anything to add?
So, as y'all know,
Anything bad?
I have thought for a while that Arteta has a really good fastball, using a baseball term, but he doesn't have a changeup. He doesn't have a curveball. And
We're working on it.
we're working on it.
Kai's the curveball, man. You don't even know what position he plays.
You don't even know what he's thinking there. But what I will say, I think that that Arteta is a true disciple of Pep. And I think what's going to be interesting, truthfully, is to see how much does oh gosh, I just lost this company adapt to change what worked in the championship to be successful in the league. Now, with Arteta, I feel like it almost feels like that if he's more successful due to the talent. And I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I think he's a pretty good man manager for the most part. I do wonder about keeping their focus. You know, I think that was one of the things that really hit y'all hard last year was he couldn't manage that moment within the team to keep them from being too high, to stay even, which is one thing that Pep's great about. I mean, Lewis made a great point earlier. They won the Super Cup. They got back on the plane because they got to worry about Newcastle on Saturday. You know, it's not about celebration. It's about the next step. And, you know, you talk about, eventually winning the league and catching Man City. And I'm going to use a football term, college football term at that. Oh gosh, I can't remember his name. But I'm gonna use a college football term. So 10 years ago, Alabama was just an absolute juggernaut. Anybody they faced, they destroyed. Didn't matter what talent you had. When it came time between the lines, you saw them just destroy. It took a team like Clemson who went about it totally differently. They went about it with, you know what, we're not going to be that's perfect, Red, that's perfect. We're not going to be Alabama because we know we can't be Alabama. We're going to be the best version of ourselves. Everybody's like, you got to do it like Saban. If you're going to beat Saban, and everybody that did it like Saban got crushed by Saban. The same thing is going to happen with Pep. And I agree with you, Jake, that things are changing in City. But as long as that man's on the touchline, it doesn't matter what changes because he's that good of a manager. So I think this is it's hard to say that this is a season where he's got to show it after coming in second, but I think he does. I said it the other night. He's a good manager, but he's not on that next tier yet because we haven't been able to see him have something fully taken away and find a way to not only attack it but be better for it. That's where it separates your Ancelotti's, your Pep, your Jose's, I'm sure Ferguson. I think right now, if we're talking about what is Arteta's best attribute, it is getting his players to play for him. I think that is it for right now.
For 60 minutes or for 90?
For 60 minutes.
Easy with that.
I mean, that was X's point, right?
Easy
But
with
I
that.
do think that's a concern.
Honestly, it looks like I think if that's Arteta, like I think that's him having his hand on the wheel too much because it looks from what I watch when I watch Arsenal and they come out the gate hot and they score, and I've texted the group and I've texted Jake, scored too early. And I know that's never what you want, but in games where he flips the system, like he flips the tactics. It's almost like I've had coaches call Cookie where it's like, I don't want another shot on goal for 15 minutes. And it's like, why? Like I get controlling the game, but this is how we were winning this game. Why are we going to try to manage it or control it? Why not just let us, like we're already swinging for the fences. Why not just let us keep doing this? And Pep did it. Like I get it. Like Pep reeled in Holland. That's hard for me. Like if I'm the player, no, I'm hungry. I understand winning the game and managing the game. I'd put in let me do my job. I'm here to score goals, or let us do what we came out here to do. And that's hard sometimes. And I think Arteta with this Arsenal squad just gets I don't want to say he gets it wrong, but he puts the leash on and it hurts him. That's just from what I've seen.
I agree completely. I think to kind of tie it all in a bow, the pressure's on.
Yeah.
Not only from a fan standpoint, from an expectation standpoint, but from a personal standpoint. Arteta's game management needs to improve. And when I say that the pressure's on and it's different because he's never had that in his career. He's never had this kind of pressure in his career. So, at the end of this season, if we're sitting here and Arsenal are trophyless in third place, questions will be asked. And that's the kind of pressure we're under right now. But that's the kind of pressure that Arsenal fans have been baying for
True.
20 years.
True.
So I'm pumped about it.
True. I just, and I think you wrapped it up really well there, but I think right now his success is more based on his players and not his tactician or tactical awareness. And I think a great example of a team taking on the personality of their coach, one, Pep Guardiola for sure, but Jose Mourinho. They knew we scored a goal. All right, we're going to play defense for 85 minutes if we have to.
Yeah, they didn't want to score too early. Yeah, Chelsea didn't want to score early.
Mourinho taught them. Right now it seems like the Arteta's saying, okay, go score, be attacking. But it's sort of like what I brought up for the World Cup. Why do teams fall back when they score a goal? It just blows my mind. It's almost like being defeated in your mind. Like, okay, we got one. We don't need another one. We're good. It's a game.
There's always that we fall back. We just quit. We just drop the intensity, and you can't drop the intensity in this league. You just can't do that.
Switch off.
Mr. Coach Klein, I need you to draw new plays in the book because the H2O is high quality. And the medulla in your
I think it's perfect.
avocado.
Its name is Red, by the way.
That's
Red
awesome.
Bolu. Red Bolu.
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 Well, hey, look, I mean, Pep ain't red, but I'm gonna need him to be the Mr. Coach Klein and draw some new plays. So he need to find his Bobby Boucher to motivate him because he's seeing flowers and fairies and stuff, man.
Who,
Yeah.
Pep?
Can't
No.
No, you mean Arteta. You said Pep.
Can't
No,
end it
because
better.
like Pep is not really red because Red stole his ideas, and we know
Yeah.
that happened.
It's not funny if you have to explain it, Patrick. Yo, that can't end it better than that on
Right.
Arsenal. There you have it. Predictions are in for match week 2. Lots of good action coming up. And if you are as pumped as we are about it, go ahead and smash up the likes, subscribe to the channel, and get that notification bell on. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening, and have a great night.